Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Bladecast TV. I'm your regular host, Victor, and joining me today is our beloved PPK. How's it going, Pete?
It's going really well. This is going to be kind of an interesting match between these two teams here.
Yeah, definitely. Today we'll be streaming the first quarter-final in Division A of the WNL7 between ToiBois and Knights of Malta. We've got very interesting rosters with a lot of experience in both sides, and the two maps we'll be seeing today is a relatively newer map, I might say, in the competitive pool compared to a lot of the other maps. It's Waterfall, and that'll see Nords versus Rhodoks. And then our second map today will be a long-time favourite and easily recognisable map of Verloren, which will be Swadia versus Vaegir. And to kick things off, the first map will be Waterfall. Do you have any predictions that you think might be quite valuable for this first map, P? What are your takes on the rosters, first of all?
For the rosters, Malta. I played against these guys right about 2 years ago in a European tournament, kind of a brief stint, but it was a nice little exposure to the way their inf ball is coordinated and how they like to roll on around maps. Now, you mentioned this first map, Waterfall, is new, and it absolutely is. I think what that means for Malta is their roster is going to be comfortable with moving their inf ball because they played together for such a long time. A lot of these players, it'll be more intuitive. On the side of ToiBois, there's a lot of ancient players over there, but as it was mentioned in the preview before this match was placed, their collars are not really too cemented. They're not really too set with how they want to have their players spread out, and in fact, there's actually multiple collars that they've been rotating through. So for them, it's a little bit more about the archer spread and how quickly they can collapse on any threats that come to those archers.
Yeah, valuable insight actually there. And I'm glad you mentioned the preview. If you haven't already seen, Tarde has been faithfully writing the previews on the forum board. Please do check them out. They're very valuable to players who might not be used to this competitive scene, who might not be aware of how players' experience and map knowledge comes into play. So definitely go check that out on forum.telworlds. Really, really valuable, and we appreciate Tarde's efforts there because it does take a long time to write. I've written them before, and then it's not always fun. It does feel like there's a lot of repetition, but actually this one that he's written today, really, really helpful. And in fact, I will be referring to it often. And it's really helpful because also he's put the rosters on there, and it saves me from writing notes down. So just to run through the rosters really quickly for any players who, watching competitive Warband for the first time. Our infantry players normally are the bread and butter of any team. They are the guys that you'll see roaming around. Most of the time, it's a setup that has most infantry players. Most traditional teams will play that in this 8v8 format. So the ToiBois infantry roster, we see a veteran Swedish player, Oliveran, accompanied by Apfel, Spader, Tamias, Blacktide, and Habimana. Some really key and important infantry players there. Those are the guys that will be surviving on the flag when it does spawn, and they'll basically make or break the entire round. And they'll be accompanied by cavalry, Blacktide, who's interchangeable as an infantryman and a cavalry player, Kawhi, Watley, Sirkin, both Dutch players, both played at very high levels, and then our rangers, Toy, Rainbow, and Keanu, all three very, very experienced players, really, really good. They can turn the tide of any round within a few seconds because they're just really experienced. They know what they're doing. Knights of Malta, on the other hand, as you said, traditionally a infantry blob. We've seen this team for many, many years. They are a historic team. They've had a lot of name changes in their roster. We've sometimes seen them storm in tournaments, and sometimes we see them, halt a little bit and run aground. But this tournament, they fought their way to this position. They haven't been so fortunate in all of their matches. They have taken some time to get here, but they have earned their place nonetheless. And we're going to see players such as Bruce, Bulles, Knox, Puff, Carpe Diem, Hakon, and Demivar. A lot of infantry players there, and very, very good players, I might add, accompanied also by, again, interchangeable players such as Carpe Diem, who can switch roles between infantry and cavalry quite easily. Again, with Hakon, Norman, Asideado. And then finally, our three rangers, we'll see Habrak, Xerxes, and Lord Metzger. And really good to see Lord Metzger in one of our streams today, because we always mention him as a sponsor for the tournament servers, as he's been providing servers for a long time. So nice to see him get some stream time. Really good to see that. Having named all those players, P, I know we already talked about the rosters, but is there anything that you think might be a secret weapon for either of the two teams. We have seen Knights of Malta play together for a long time, but then ToiBois also a lot of experience there. What do you think? What do you make of them?
I could be wrong, but I like to place the individual player peak. Like there's probably more individual skill on the side of ToiBois. Now, the downside to that is that they don't really have a cemented collar, as Sirkin kind of admitted in a sense in his preview write up. Now, I think their secret weapon will just be, in fact, that individual player skill cap. I mean, if they can get a lot of just peak kills, I mean, that can start it out nicely and finish it nicely for them. But Malta's secret weapon, I think, is just their cemented status. Karpa has been leading that team for a very long time, and I just think that having that be their safe net, that'll be any kind of key for them.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I know Sirkin did mention in his preview interview with Tarday that they had some inconsistency with players turning up, which is always difficult as a captain. Having I think both of us led teams before, we know that commitment to the team is something that is quite something that we take for granted. But if players don't turn up to trainings or maybe even turn up to matches, then at the end of the day, it doesn't matter who's on your roster. If they're not turning up, then it's not going to go in your favour. So I'm hoping that inconsistency won't be a factor today, although I have a feeling it might do, as not all players are that great that they can just stay out of the game for a week or two and then just come back to high level play instantly. But I think we'll be shown wrong today. What do you make of the predictions that Tarday previewed on that write-up, that that you yourself and myself both predicted us Malta to win? But do you think ToiBois actually are the favourites for this?
I think historically they're the favorites just based on the players they have and how they're known in the competitive scene in the community. And I believe it was only 2 of the pundits put in their vote for ToiBois. But I think Malta is just kind of the underdog in some sense as far as individual players go. But the predictions, I hope they come out on top, because I definitely voted for Malta, like you said, yourself included. I like to see them win, though, so I like to be correct about that.
Yeah, and I think it's also desirable to see a team like Malta go all the way, especially with their history and a lot of likable players like Carpe Diem. He's a experienced Polish player. He's been in the scene a long time. Quite a humble guy, having known him personally. But once they get into this game that they all love and treasure so much, they do become quite ruthless, and they will play some insane plays if required of them. They all have the capability to do that, each and every one of them on both sides. So I think it's just going to shovel down to who wants it more and who wants to take the coveted prize of WNL champions, because I think both of these teams do have the potential to go all the way, because it isn't so clean cut as it has been in previous tournaments, with teams like AE or Korwa especially making appearances in past tournaments. Now we see a lot of those teams now have broken up, and those players that have once formed strong bonds together in those teams are actually now scattered in and amongst loads of teams. So it's not such a clear cut, obvious winner. We do see teams like House Tully, Main 11, Unity still hitting the high ranks, but I still wouldn't put teams like Malta and ToiBois out. I think both of them have the potential to play on their best day some very high level warband and get all the way. So let's see how this goes today, and I think we could both be proven wrong with ToiBois actually taking it.
I think it's worth noting right before we get started here, as we get to the live session here, this is Division A and this is quarterfinals. So I mean, no matter which way you cut it, this is big boys playing, and this is for a big title here. So as we get streamer get going here, we can see what they want to do with comps.
Yeah, so the first round is going to kick off of this quarterfinal between ToiBois and Malta of the WNL7. Honestly, it's actually very exciting to still be streaming in a WNL, because we thought, it's been over a year since the last one, so we didn't know if this sort of tournament would make a reappearance, this high level of a tournament. But Scar, Deacon, and Arwen forming together to remake this. So thanks to them. We'll see on this first map. There are a few things to point out actually. The boat here on the far side by the windmill is a contested area early on, because if you get this side by the bridge, you kind of have an oversea towards that where the flag can spawn by the open area just behind where Malta spawned. But the flag has actually already spawned now, and it does spawn quite early on. Since a few years ago, the flag timer was changed to appear earlier on in the round, just to kind of change the meta of the game, and I think it kind of has. And we're going to see Serkan actually is going to approach quite aggressively around the side, and I think he was maybe trying to get a cheeky jab on Malta, but the infantry are now coming together in the middle of this map area, right between the bridge and the rock. And we see the first kill comes in for Norman Guy, who gets a couch on Rin, and cavalry all over the place. And we see 2 Ranger kills coming. Xerxes take down Watley, so that's one less cav. And Seaman takes down Norman, and Keanu gets a kill as well. So we're seeing loads of Ranger kills come out early on in this round. Xerxes is going to try and reload his crossbow and hard on, but Serkan's going to come out and take him. Really well played by Serkan. But Hakon, in the meantime, is taking down Salmon with his Morning Star. That's a obvious. Oh, and Handbrake with a sickening headshot on Serkan. Brilliant, brilliant headshot. And it's just going to be Tamias, and Asadiado actually gets a double kill as a cavalry, and he's going to come around and try and get the triple kill. Doesn't manage to, and Tamias is the last taken down by Malta. So Malta proving us right here, but obviously it's just the first round. Very back and forth round there. What did you make of that?
I think that was kind of strange to see how the very first round goes as far as the infantry players want to take how they were land grabbing the map there. The flag spawned very far away. It looks like both teams were getting ready for that river spawn, which is really what I was hoping for as well. And Malta, they just kind of like slugged through that at a slower pace. ToiBois, they had those guys caught out in the center, and they just frankly got surrounded. It was like 2 versus 6 right there for a short period. They didn't last very long. The archers, it took too long to get set up, and the crossbows didn't have any issue moving out. I guess maybe ToiBois Cav not on the expos enough. And here's that river spawn I was talking about. So for me, this will be a little more interesting to see how Malta handles this as infantry and how ToiBois reacts.
Yeah, so we're going to see Xerxes kind of push over to the bridge here. He's going to try and get an early setup. Wisely, as the lower fire rate of the crossbows does prove to be a disadvantage at times. Malta going to take the flag that spawned in the river. Both teams actually taking identical setups. Somewhat surprising maybe to experienced players, as Nords are proven infantry players, I should say. And Carpe Diem getting caught out there kind of a little bit. He tried to, I think, maybe get a cheeky kill on Keanu, maybe get a little bit of a couch, but being unsuccessful there and actually coming worse off with 2 javelins very, very close together on his hip. That must be very painful. But obviously... Oh! Okay. Watley gets taken down by Super Babusha, and that's actually Black Tide, I believe. A lot of different names coming out, but Serkan also gets taken down. So a lot of early action happening here without the main infantry forces actually colliding. So Serkan's now probably going to head over towards the infantry and act as a 3rd infantryman. Not very easy, I should say, with that poor shield skill of the Nord cavalry. He's going to push over towards Rindu, who also actually has taken a hit from a crossbowman underneath his shield. Very skillful shot by Xerxes there. He's still on that side of the rock, and he's going to kind of remain uncontested. The flag is still actually not in favour of Malta, as infantry do get pushed now, and Hakon takes down Tamias. All right, all the cavalry are congesting now onto the infantry, and both infantry have been taken down for ToiBois, and that's a double kill for Hakon, who again is making the most of his Morning Star. Really deadly on the horseback, that is. Carpe Diem also trying to get work done, but he's going to leave the scene. So Keanu's just going to be harassed by 2 Malta cav. Oh, and Hakon gets a team kill. That was very weird, but it kills Asadiado after Asadiado takes down Keanu. So that was a little weird, but I don't think it's going to make too much of an impact, as there's only 3 ToiBois players remaining. One of them is actually Compromise, who takes down Norman Guy in 1-on-1 infantry, so he did well there.
I mean, Malta, that's the flag I wanted to see, and I think I saw most of what I wanted to find out about their calling there. Malta really perfectly protecting their crossbows. They had a very decent spread going, and the cav was just very conscientious of where they were and how to keep the distance going. They weren't worried about the flag posturing at all. Pre-flagging was not a big deal to them. Serkan took an early decav. That's not very good. I'd like to see Carpe go for more of those kind of sneaky plays in the back with the couches, because obviously they weren't ready for that. Kind of exposing ToiBois' flawed maybe observation or calling going on there for callouts. And that's really how you rattle a team with good individual player skill, is to just get those early kills, and it becomes a mess in communications. But really well played by Malta there. That was awesome.
absolutely right. And now we're going to see Malta, who's now taking a different approach. The flag has spawned in all 3 places in these 3 rounds, which is nice to see. The flag now spawning by, I'm going to say the open area. It's more by the well here on the left-hand side. Malta are actually going to push up towards that platform by the catapult. And ToiBois are going to meet them there. Again, Rinder's been shot. Bit higher up now. Must have been caught out with his shield down as he was running somewhere. A little bit of immaturity maybe in infantry play. And they're going to now engage each other far on this hand side. Oh, and a handbrake takes down Sirkin. Again, we see cavalry taking early deaths. Not what you want to see at all. Cavalry quite important in this open map. Both infantry getting taken. Oh, wow, Malta just racking in the kills here.
Hardbrock in the back, just standing by himself.
Yeah, he is, and he's just doing dangerous work as Asario gets another team kill, but it doesn't seem to be a problem as kills just flowing in for Malta. ToiBois have been taken completely by surprise in this opening set, and Malta are going to take a whitewash, should I say, in round terms, with a 3-0 in the first map, and that's very favourable for Malta at this point.
That's probably the quickest that I've seen this so far this tournament as I've watched this. Right, I mean that was just a flawed push by ToiBois. They know better than that. The cav came in from Malta on defense of the opposite cav push from ToiBois kind of perfectly, to be honest. And I mean really that these are the overhead views that I like to see. This is Malta just staying in it, and that's comfortable calling. These players are very comfortable with each other. It's all understood amongst each other. I don't think that can be said for ToiBois, and it's really exposed here.
And I'm curious as to what Oliver and Watley, who I presume are the commanders / callers for ToiBois' side, both experienced commanders, I should say. So, especially Oliver, who's known as quite a diverse commander. He's commanded a lot of teams. Recently, a team that people experienced with this competitive scene, Geese Pack, they have done quite well in recent tournaments. They were also a new team with a lot of players who have played together before, but I think coming together for the first time as a team. Now we see a similar situation happening with ToiBois, and whether or not they're going to actually change anything up, if they're going to try and maybe replicate what Malta did to them and just kind of shut them out with every engagement, or maybe they're going to have a little encouragement towards some specific players to stop any early deaths, because we did see quite a few early deaths coming from ToiBois, especially the cavalry. They just didn't seem to have as much of an impact as players such as Asatiado, for instance, on Malta's team seem to have.
I think it has to be said, ToiBois can absolutely come back and not let them win another round. I mean, they have the individual skill to do such things, but at a core, I have to keep referencing the calling nature of these teams, because that's, I think, at the core of what wins these rounds for teams of this caliber. If it is Oliver calling, or if it's Sirkin calling, or somebody else mentioned in the preview, they have to decide amongst themselves as the quote-unquote leaders of that group of players who's going to take what and when and why. And if that's not set in stone prior to these things happening, you have early deaths when they really shouldn't happen. And they know this, but it's got to be finished and said before this kind of thing happens.
As you said, it's got to be hit, early deaths like that. It's not really desirable at all. I mean, it's not even a case of 50-50, he just came off unlucky there. Some very questionable decisions from cavalry, because they do have quite a large sphere of influence, especially on an open map like Waterfall, where cavalry can have a huge impact, and so early deaths do affect the outcome of the round, especially with this team as well, because Malta just seem to be punishing ToiBois with every mistake that they make. So going to be very interesting to see what the next set comes with. I'd say Nords are perhaps more favourable as a faction, but clearly Malta showing us that that's not the case, because they took 3 rounds against a team that are very, very good, to put it in plain terms. So don't know if maybe ToiBois are going to try and capitalise on this momentum that Rhodok seem to have, or maybe they're going to, as you say, just shut out Malta with every round and not let them take it away, and maybe try and even up the score for the Verloren, which is a map that all of these players will be far more experienced on.
Yeah, Verloren will definitely be the for lack of better terms, the actual map to see who's ready to play today. I think ToiBois, when they get on Swap Live here, when it looks like that's about to happen, I think their archers are, this is what they're thinking, in my opinion, is ToiBois thinking we need to have better pre-flag placement, and let's pay attention to the cav in the back. If we get those things straight away, and we listen to the caller correctly this time, we'll probably be able to get this 3-0.
So the second set going to kick off now for Waterfall. Again, for new viewers who might not be used to, maybe they've just only bought the game recently and they've just heard from the forums that this stream's happening. The traditional aspect of competitive Warband is 8v8, and we see maps like these have 2 sets. And again, it's more in recent competitive history. I want to say that it's been changed to a 1-3 format. I mean, it was in the last 5 years, so it's not that recent, but you know, traditionally it was best of 4 rounds, but now it's 1-3, and I think it does liven the game up a little bit, especially compared to before. So now we have 1-3 and then 2 sets, and then they change map and do it all again with a whole new map and whole new factions. You're going to see the flag spawn again on this open side by the well, and ToiBois are going to capitalise with the positioning and try and raise it, apply a little bit of pressure to Malta, who are all going to push around cautiously. They're going to protect Bullez, and Bushka are going to protect Xerxes as he tries to push towards that gate, maybe towards the cart actually, which is a good idea.
ToiBois, I mean, they got the spawn. This is exactly what we should be looking for to see if anything swings back in their favor on the faction swaps. Malta, once again, taking this really low and slow, and they're going to go topside with pretty much everybody. Xerxes already getting an early shot up.
Yeah, and Simon, who actually is Rainbow, I believe, he's going to take up position round the tower. And actually, this is kind of almost a replica of what we saw before, I believe, between House Tully. Oh, and the first kill actually coming in. Habrek takes down Kiano, and that's a brilliant early kill. Kiano, a very competent crossbow player, and now all the cavs going to come in now to the middle. Oh, and Norman Guy gets a huge kill on Oliveran, but most of the kills are actually coming in for ToiBois, as we see Sirkin take down Assediado. That's one cav down. Watley's also been dismounted, and he's taking a lot of hits, and Bullez is still, as I say that, he gets taken down by Tamias. Watley's now pushing Hakon, and it's 2 dismounted cav, but Carpe Diem comes out of nowhere, but then Hakon gets taken down by Blacktide. Sirkin then also takes down Carpe Diem elsewhere on the map with a javelin. Xerxes takes down Ast, but then Habrak has dismounted Blacktide, and he's going to push him in an infantry engagement. It is 3-on-4. It could go either way still. Habrak is by himself, and he's going to actually push towards the flag. He's going to leave Blacktide alone, as Xerxes is dueling 2 players. Actually, no, it was 2v1 for Xerxes. And he gets taken down by Rainbow, and Norman Guy. It is still very back and forth. It's 2v3. Habrak's going to get pushed. Oh, and Rainbow actually takes down Norman Guy, so it's just 1 Malta player left, and he gets stunned. Really well played by ToiBois in the end, but very, very close. It wasn't as convincing win for ToiBois, but they still managed to pull it off.
No, you're correct. That was not convincing at all. That swung 2 ways there. About 30 seconds into the fight, the archers from the archers from Malta there, they just didn't have enough time in the back. Xerxes, he had a great position for that pre-flag once he finally got there, and the same for the second archer, Habrak, but it just, they didn't get anything done early enough. The cav was just all over the place on flag, and that's pretty much where it was decided. ToiBois definitely coming out on top of that, but I don't know, they could swing either way.
As you say, definitely could swing either way, as Malta weren't looking completely submissive there in that last round. The flag's going to spawn in the river now. Malta taking up position on the left side. They're actually going to push the flag, and they're going to take the flag first. ToiBois are going to let them. They're not too fussed about that, as we see Tamias has that full helmet. That's going to be difficult to overcome as an infantry player. And Malta are being the aggressors here. Norman Guy comes out of nowhere with his Corsair. He's going to try and do a little bit of damage, but doesn't get anything done. So equally, ToiBois are going to react in the same vein, and they're going to push their cav. A lot of cav play happening at the moment. A lot of roaming around and kills coming in finally. Carpe Diem takes down Oleron, so that's one infantry player down. Just one infantry player left for ToiBois. And it's just ToiBois, and he's going to try and push. And Carpe Diem actually gets a double kill. Really big cav play. And Haakon also gets a kill. All the kills coming in for the cav at the moment. Bullez now takes down ToiBois, and Keanu's also taken down by another cav. All the kills coming in for cavalry. Big play by Malta. We do see one kill come back for Serkan, but I don't think it's going to be enough as there's only 2 players remaining, and Serkan gets taken down by Carpe Diem in a brilliant move and team play by the Malta cavalry. And it's just Rainbow left us who gets taken down with a double kill from Carpe Diem. The Malta cavalry doing superb work in that round.
Carpe in particular with the 5-1 so far, really coming in clutch that round. I noticed from ToiBois Serkan and Keanu at the back towards the spawn, that can't be happening where they're both wrapped up with one individual player from Malta for a good 25-30 seconds. That I think if there had to be a big play there, it was the cav that got both of them tied up for that amount of time. I mean, that just left the flag open for total destruction, and Carpe with that early pickup. That's exactly what you want to see if you're on Malta. That's great green text to see. The archers had plenty of shots, and the cav just stayed up throughout that. Well played from them.
Yeah, I completely agree. The cavalry, superb work from Carpe Diem, especially the commander leading the way both on the battlefield and in the score, as he now oversees the field of play on the right hand side as the flag is almost going to spawn. Actually, no, it already spawned. I'm sorry, I completely ignored that. The flag has spawned over by the tents, but both teams are actually going to ignore it as they're kind of having a Mexican standoff over the river here. They're both going to mirror each other as they move down towards the bridge. I think they're trying to maybe push an engagement elsewhere. I'm not sure what ToiBois are actually doing. I can see why Malta are pushing. They're doing a great job of keeping ToiBois on the other side. And it just seems that Malta cavalry are having a little bit of a heyday as they're just roaming around quite scot-free. And Watley actually gets taken down, I believe, with a javelin, yeah. And so that's one cavalry down.
That's two cavs dismounted so far. This is huge for Malta as they go to the flag here.
You're right, the 2 cav down, that's Black Tide and Watley, and they're going to push his infantry, but all the infantry are coming in together now. And actually the first kill comes in for Rainbow as he takes down Xerxes, but then, alright, more cavalry coming in now. Carpe Diem, Bullez. Black Tide gets, I believe, I don't even know what that was, maybe it was a javelin headshot. He takes down Haakon, I believe that must have been some whirlwind of a kill, I think it was a javelin. A lot of low health bars now. Norman actually gets a javelin kill on Watley, and he's going to push over and help the rest of his team, who are struggling a little bit as Assediado is taken down by Serkan. So it is evened up now with 5v5, and so the engagement simmering down. They're going to retreat. Malta going to head towards the flag, which is a wise move. There's only 40 seconds left. They might actually be able to take this with the flag. ToiBois is quite struggling far behind. There's only 1 cavalry up at the moment. There's 2 cavalry up, should I say. Or 3. Okay, no, I completely lied. Ignore all that. There's more than 2. A lot of cavalry. It's only Carpe Diem, though, I believe, who's still on his horse for Malta. Still proving that he's a threat with 6 kills. And Serkan gets taken down with very lousy play from him. Quite easily taken down. And Carpe Diem doing awesome work and 3 quick kills in succession. 4 kills, should I say. Okay, wow. ToiBois completely... They saw them coming towards the flag, and Malta were not bothered at all. Wow, okay, so Carpe Diem getting his 8th kill of the set, and Malta just quickly dismissing ToiBois' aggression there. Very well played from Malta.
Every player in each of the 3 classes from Malta has been playing consistently. I've noticed this just screams competency from these players and these callers. 2 early dismounts happened. ToiBois lost 2 early cav. That should be said. And what I think that is, just from understanding the players that are on ToiBois, they're looking for these early picks that can give them the advantage that they're under pressure to do such things. But there's a difference between knowing and you're under pressure and then actually coming through and doing it. There's no follow through. And what that resulted in was 2 early dismounts, and that's huge. That gives Malta just so much space. Their archers can breathe, and I mean their infantry towards the end of the round there as they got on a flag. That's just great pocket play. Everybody knows their role, and they're all just seamlessly playing together. That's great.
You yourself, PBK, knowing all about pressure as you played with WK, a formidable and quite easily sayable the dominant force in the North American scene for many years. Do you think these guys are, as you say, they're reacting well under pressure? Malta is showing a very professional side to their play. whereas ToiBois may be showing that their nerves are a little bit shaky. They're not able to adapt quickly, and we're going to see a lot of passive early skirmishes here, but no kills coming in yet. Malta really heavily armored up, and again, Watley gets taken down. Another cavalry down for ToiBois before the fight's even begun. Oh, but Bullets gets taken down, and that's a huge kill for Blacktide as he's taken down a very heavily armored player. But we do see a kill come back for Malta. Babushka, which is Nox, takes down Tomias, and then 2 kills quickly back and forth. So it's all even up now. Blacktide again getting a kill on Nox, so he's taken down 2 infantry players all by himself, and Carpe Diem gets dismounted. So ToiBois are not out of this. They seem to be completely turning this around. Malta on the brink of losing this now. Carpe Diem all by himself on the flag, and he's going to get pushed. Oh, but Habrak is still helping out. He's still up, and I think ToiBois kind of forgot about him. Carpe Diem does get taken down eventually, but Habrak's going to now get pushed finally. I do think ToiBois forgot about him, but not forgetting about him now as they finish up the round with a very comfortable win, I should say, only losing 3 players, and Blacktide doing huge work early on, taking down a very heavily armored Bullets, should I say.
Yeah, comfortable win is right. ToiBois, that's when it spawns on them like that, when the flag is in their territory and they have time to set up these crossbows like that. That's when you should expect a comfortable win, only taking 3 deaths just like that round. Xerxes from Malta, he didn't have a lot of time to get set up in the back, and Sirkin took it amongst himself to disable that archer for the duration of the round, and he ended up killing him in the end. That's the kind of play I would expect from these individuals. And as far as Habrak was concerned, he was just under pressure the entire time from Cav. The Malta infantry, there was only 2 of them on flag. They didn't last as long as I thought they would, but that's just kind of what happens in that kind of pocket scenario. The terrain doesn't really help them a lot there, and you know, that's more of the stuff I would expect to see from the roster on ToiBois. Maybe they're getting something figured out here as flag spawns in middle.
And ToiBois clearly smelling blood as they're now going to push over the river, and they want this 3rd round. They want this 2nd set. Cavalry are going to try and come in and do a little bit of boom and zoom. Not going to get much done. Tomias does get heavily hits now, and oh, Nox takes down Watley. So again, Watley not making an impact on the round as much as I think he'd want to. And Malta opening up the early kills here. Carpe Diem takes down Tomias. Rainbow actually does take down Assediado. That's 1 cavalry down, and he's still remaining uncontested on that rock as Carpe Diem tries to come and do something. Oh, and Habrak gets a dirty headshot. He's again remaining left alone on that side. Keanu is also going to get pushed down by Norman Guy on that. I want to call it the balcony area. It's kind of like a plateau, maybe. I don't know. But yeah, more Malta kills just streaming in. Only lost 2 players themselves. Keanu gets taken down. Sirkin also gets shot by Xerxes. The Malta archers doing a very good job, and they're actually going to take this 2nd set very convincingly. Carpe Diem sitting neat and pretty up there with 11 kills and only 2 deaths. Really well played from him, the captain of this Malta team, clearly leading by example there. And they're going to go into the 2nd map with Verloren with a quite comfortable 6-2 lead. And this is not, well, I mean, it's what we wanted to happen and what we predicted, but maybe in our hearts it's not what we thought would happen, and clearly Malta's showing us right. You know, they've won that 1st map quite convincingly.
Yeah, you know, that I think you're right about the hearts and minds kind of difference there. The ToiBois roster means from the outside perspective, this should not be happening. But Malta as a team, they're saying, no, this is just what we do. We've been doing this for a long time. And I think that comfortability is really showing through here. This is really great to see this, because I played against these guys a long time ago, and this is just kind of a refresher on where they stand now. This is definitely a Division A team that just really clean stuff. I think if I'm ToiBois, I'm thinking that was not a fluke, but you have to really think about it that way if you're in this scenario and you're coming into Verloren thinking this is a much more comfortable map. This has been here since Vietnam. Everybody knows this. Maybe as individual players, we can call this and kind of find our way through this a little more fluidly as a team.
Yeah, and I think something that viewers, it's something that maybe we could consider looking at maybe in later streams, maybe more towards Banlord, you know, having maybe you know how on Formula One we have a sneak peek into the team radios. I mean, maybe we could have an insight into the team Discord for 5 seconds about maybe what they're saying, but I mean, I don't know if that's too far-fetched, or maybe we'd hear things that we don't want to hear, but I would be very interested to hear what's going on in the ToiBois Discord / TeamSpeak, you know, what they're saying to each other, maybe the motivation, maybe some sloppy play need to be picked up. You know, I'd be interested to hear how they're going to turn this round, or in what way they want to turn this round, because ToiBois do have the capacity to take this map, but it's just how much they want it, and Malta clearly showing, you know, that they want it more at this point.
They absolutely do want it more, based on the score and then the gameplay last map. You know, if I'm ToiBois and if I just get it going, you get that first round, you get a little armor, and it feels like this is what we needed to do before. Let's forget about that. We need to be in this place right now. We need to be in this headspace. I think if I'm ToiBois, that's what I want to be thinking about. Less about the individual play, more about the macro. Let's move this way, and just no more early deaths. That seems to be another big thing as well. No more early deaths. We're all capable of staying alive past the flag spawn and another 30 seconds after that. So let's just manage those two things and just live through this.
Yeah, definitely. And we've talked about, you know, maybe some disappointing play that we've seen, but who's really impressed you? I mean, obviously Carpe Diem with 11 kills,
Yes.
clearly doing an amazing job. But who else do you think has kind of shown up today?
I think Xerxes. I'm really impressed with him, and Habrak as well. I mean, I just was witnessing some 3v3 infantry as an aside from Habrak the other day, and it's clear that there's multi-class competency from pretty much everybody on the Malta team at this point, and the fact that he's being put on ranged just tells me that he's not going to get couched in the back, so to speak. He's not going to be caught off guard by something that the enemy team is doing some big rotations. Okay, I've already telegraphed this. I know what's going on. Same said for Xerxes. So those two are big names for me from Malta.
Yeah, and who do you think has the capability on the ToiBois side to turn this around? Do you think any names stand out in particular, or do you think the whole team can kind of do that by themselves?
The whole team could definitely do it, but if I could pick two players, I'd like to see Timaeus and Rind come in. Those are two guys that I know can definitely just hang at the top and keep the consistency going. It's just if everything else is oiled in the great machine, they can definitely just pull it off.
Yeah, as you say, well-oiled machine. Malta clearly showing that their experience playing together and their teamwork kind of overpowers that of maybe specific individual names, as we did already mention that ToiBois have a lot of names on their roster that individually are great players, and we've seen do great things with previous teams. But Malta today showing that, you know, they don't really care, and they don't care about their own poor record in this tournament. You know, not having won, I think it was 3 or 4 matches in the opening stages. Not a great start for them, but they've made it this far, and they're clearly showing us and viewers that they deserve their spot, and they're going to continue with their high form into the semi-finals, hopefully. So fingers crossed for them that they do as well as they want to and go as far as I'm sure many people want them to go. But we are going to see the second set. I'm sorry, we're going to see the second map of this quarterfinal between Knights of Malta and ToiBois kick off now. The coveted Verloren. Many players and viewers will be used to this map. It is an old map created by Hazan. A lot of, as we've mentioned in other maps, quite a lot of pocket play can happen, but there's also space for some open play as well, especially by this fountain map area as well.
From these teams, what concerns me about these factions is pretty much just that. Vaegir's, as the archers get a lot of time to set up, it's going to be pretty much clinched on them and the scimitars that they get. And for Malta, it's going to be that armoring up in Swadia and Alpex. And they just want to, wow, Malta's just aggressive. I like this.
Yeah, wow. Okay, Malta being really aggressive now as the flag has spawned in the ToiBois area, but Malta pushing with their Swadia, all pikes, all ready. Xerxes is getting the first kill and he takes down Ast, but Kiana gets a kill back on Assadiado, so that's one player down for both sides. We are going to see Carpe Diem and Timaeus have a little go in this corner. Norman Guy getting a double kill on Keanu and Oliver respectively, and then, okay, wow. Kills coming in for all the cavalry. Again, cavalry for play for Malta, just being a complete show-off, I might even say, as we may see Demivar make an appearance in the game for the first time today.
that just exudes confidence from Malta. That puts a smile on your face if you've ever called before. I mean, that's what that is we're coming into this map and we're just going to keep this steam going. Like, this is just, it's not, there's no brakes on this train, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do the same thing. Looks like they're already going to start this out. This is just, we're going to finish this match right now. ToiBois is on the run. They don't have the coordination right now. They're confused about calling. Whatever the problem is, we're gonna expose that, and they're probably going to push right at him again. Here we go.
Yeah, the aggression from Malta overpowering ToiBois, and they just have no clue how to respond. Malta again going to be really aggressive, and they're going to push by the alleyway now. The first kill actually does come in for Serkan, who punishes Norman, who got a little bit too aggressive there on the side. He got caught up, and ToiBois actually getting the first kills, and no kills coming in for Malta as of yet. They are being pushed, and Tomas gets actually a double kill for ToiBois, but 2 kills come back for Malta, so they're not out of this yet. They're still showing that they're in this fight. Their aggression may be paying off yet. Carpe Diem again getting a double kill, and huge play for Carpe Diem. This guy has just been showing the whole world why he deserves his place in this semi-final if he wants it. And again, Malta, Xerxes doing well, as you predicted. Xerxes, a player who's just been performing so well, and again he performs well in this crucial stage of the game, and more kills coming in for Malta. ToiBois almost had a run there. They had 2 kills to start with, but then Malta just clearly... Oh, okay, wow. Assediado, not favourable team kill there, but he does finish things off by taking Rind out. Okay, yeah, Malta showing us why that they deserve this.
Just it's so good to see the stack up and push in there from Malta. It was, well, let's just get some quick feelers. Okay, they're in what we call Brumeli, and then okay, let's just get in there and keep this roll going. It's worth noting that they were 3 down there towards the start of that, and it was just a slow trickle back in. Carpe with 2 easy pickups, 5 seconds, 6 seconds apart. That's huge, and then just. Really, that's a testament to the individual skill of several of these players. Xerxes in particular, I was keeping an eye on. He was just 1v1ing for a short amount of time there. Finished that after 20 seconds of fierce 1v1ing, and then went on to help his team. They refound each other, and just, here we go again, just finish it up.
And again, they want this 3rd and final round really, really quickly. Not even bothered about the flag. Again, opening kill comes in for ToiBois, but Bullets gets 1 back on Keanu. We're going to see 2 players down for Malta, but they're still going to fight on as we see players all over the place, actually. Haikon takes down Tamias down below. Assediado gets reared up. Demivar takes down Black Tide. Haikon does have a warhorse, and he's just roaming around freely. Okay, more kills coming in for Malta. Xerxes takes down Oliveran. Serkan does get 1 back on Norman. We're just going to see the rest of the fight take that place downstairs, just below this area. Haikon again playing out of his mind. He takes down Serkan. Ast is roaming around free, and it's just him by himself, and I think Malta are going to take this. Xerxes finishes off. Wow, that was too quick. Malta have won. Wow, GG. That was so quick. I can't even believe it. Wow. It's not even been 45 minutes, and Malta have already taken this quarter-final very, very convincingly as well. They've completely just decimated ToiBois. They've taken them completely by surprise, and I think ourselves as well. Malta just showing everyone actually why they should be feared and respected. They don't even care about their previous losses. They've stormed this quarterfinal, absolutely stormed it. Well played to them.
That was, yeah, absolutely. That was frankly stunning. I'm wiping the sweat off my brow from definitely from betting on Malta to win this. It was my plan the whole time, obviously. But the gameplay here, I mean, just they're so good at finding each other in the mud. The infantry players, they can see right past. They have a really good intuitive indicator that's saying, I need to stay alive for X amount of time. My teammates are good at this and then the next thing. It's just really smooth. You can't put it past their infantry players to stay up. It's worth noting, it was said earlier, there's obviously some fun banter, but that their players were kind of reserved infantry players. Now, I don't know how much truth there is to that, but obviously the reserve showed up today like the regulars would. So that just really peerless stuff from Malta. This is a Division A team, and they deserve it.
Very, very impressive from Malta. They showed pure professionalism in their play. They were very focused. They even when they went 2 players down to begin with, which a lot of other teams would kind of buckle under that pressure and be like, okay, guys, now what do we do? They showed how good they are when they adapted to that. They kept on fighting. They remained in the fight the whole time. Everyone just knew that they had to survive, and they took it away. They took it away with this last set very, very convincingly, and they did it quite easily, I might say, as well. Malta not showing really any times. I mean, maybe in the first map, 1 or 2 rounds where ToiBois took it away, it was very close. But Malta really not showing that they, needed much help. They just, every round that they won, they did it. They did it with massive favour, and their players just showed up today. Really well played to them.
I think if there's one word I could pick, it's just confidence. Malta just exudes confidence. Really good to see it.
Yeah, I completely agree, and it's a shame that ToiBois weren't able to step up today. A lot of experienced players there, but they will not be making it as far as they hoped. These playoffs will let them play more matches. This isn't the last match that ToiBois will play. They can make it to the third place playoff if they do win the remaining matches. But Malta are now going to progress to the semi-final. Really happy for them, I should say. They're a team that have deserved their place here. They have fought really hard to get here. They haven't had any easy games, I might say. I mean, maybe that one against FTW, but apart from that, they've fought really hard to get here. But today they've just shown, as you said, competence, and they've just done an amazing job. Standout players for me today got to be Carpe Diem and Xerxes, 2 phenomenal players who were just playing off their head today. We saw some insane double kills and just roaming around like a tank at times. What about you, P? Who stood out for you today?
I think it has to be said for me as well, Carpe. I mean, I didn't reference him earlier just because he was already said, but that's kind of a nice place to be for Carp. He definitely carried a really heavy load as a placeholder for cavalry on the map. You're a force to be reckoned with, and he just had total confidence in doing so and carried that round to round. Not a lot of misplays from him. Other than that, Xerxes kind of really pulled through as a solo ranged. When it was getting really thick there, he was definitely at the front lines, stacking kills there.
Yeah, and so now we're going to see Knights of Malta progress on to the first semi-final, and they'll be facing House Tully, and whoever wins that will win. Well, I should say, I don't know if they're going to win. I mean, maybe that's some weird prediction coming from me, but they'll face the winner of the semi-final B, which will be between Main 11, and the winner of the second quarterfinal, should I say, up between Unity and FTW. I think predictions may be lying on Unity there. FTW shown that they've struggled a lot in this tournament. They are better than Div B, but they kind of need a little div of their own, really, between A and B, because they've really struggled in that first div, facing a lot of heavy defeats to teams. So I'm not sure if the results have come in for that yet or not, or if it's yet to be played. But yeah, big congratulations to Knights of Malta today. Commiserations to ToiBois. Brilliant first quarter final. Really happy that we streamed this. And as always, we've got to give our shout out. So, P, I think I'll actually let you give our first shout outs today, man.
Well, I'm glad you did. I didn't say it on either of the previous streams, but the admins of WNL7, this is kind of novel for me, just casting this stuff and frankly just being a part of it. But I do know that this is the biggest legacy tournament in this game's history, and the fact that it's continued by just a handful of people, and they're just really dedicated to getting the matches and administration, everything that goes on in the forums behind the scenes. That's like a part-time job, and I really do appreciate that they just keep the lights on. So thanks to them.
Oh yeah, completely agree. Massive thanks to them. And as you say, this is a tournament that is, I'd say, sewn together with Warband in terms of its history. So big thanks to Deacon, Scar, and Arwen, the admins for this tournament. They do a great job, and they've gotten us this far with loads of tournaments. So thanks so much to them, and the referees as well, especially our referee today, Wardo, who was in and out. Big thanks to him. It does take a lot of patience to just sit there in spectator and just make sure all these specific rules are adhered to. So big thanks to him. And I also just want to mention, whilst we've got this time as well, to remind players to stick to those rules, because I've seen a lot of simple rules being broken, like names and tags, and just simple sportsmanlike behavior not being shown properly. So please try and stick to those, guys. I mean, it makes the admin's time a lot easier. And also thanks to you, PBK. Thank you so much for joining me today again. I think we've streamed, this is our third match together now, and it's just been seamless. There's been no hassle whatsoever. I've massively enjoyed streaming with you, dude. You're just such a class commentator, and I'm sure that we'll continue to have this partnership for many matches to
the-
come. I hope so. Anyway.
Appreciate the kind words, Victor. This is definitely a lot of fun to do this. I have a great time with this. This is great.
Yeah, and obviously we can't forget to mention our behind-the-scenes cameraman, Deafening. I love to thank this guy because he doesn't like being thanked, so I will continue to thank him more and more. He does all the work that you see visually, you know, keeping things running smoothly. Obviously, there are technical difficulties that we run into all the time, but he just makes sure that things run smoothly, and he just does all that incredible work. So thank you so much to him. Thanks so much to Roslington and Calamity especially as well for keeping this project going. And he's just been such a workhorse in terms of churning stuff out and just making sure everyone's doing their job. So big thanks to him as well, and all the Bladecast staff as well. That all those guys, they do so much work in the Discord that you don't even see that's happening. Projects that are coming out, things like that. Big thanks to them, and big thanks to our sponsors as well, which I haven't mentioned before. Oasis Hosting, they support us and sponsor us, so big thanks to them. And then finally, these are our last shout outs. Big thanks to Tailworld as well for providing 13 Bannerlord keys as well to the winners, and they will be distributed out amongst different teams and different players who will have reached the top of the relative stats areas. And also that also lets me shout out to Harmon and Yami as well, who run that. Check those out if you haven't already. There's some awesome stats and a lot of work goes into that, so thanks to them. And yeah, thank you finally to the teams, Malta, ToiBois, and to the viewers as well. Thank you so much for joining us today. We had a really great time streaming this. As always, we will be back again next week, hopefully to stream whichever semi-final we try and fit in. Hopefully, if we can stream more, then we will, but that's yet to be decided. Other than that, thank you so much for joining us, and see you next time. Good night.
Thanks.